Hey YouTubers, it's me, Monkeydragon here, helping all you guys out there. Well, anyways guys, I got a demolition, custom class, tips and tricks, tutorial, all that kind of stuff. So with that, let's go in and begin. Okay guys, I'm going to go in and start with what weapon classes are more suited for this type of game mode. And I believe that submachine guns and assault rifles are probably your best bet whenever you are playing demolition. Solely because they're easy to handle and they're usable in most every situation on a map whenever you are playing demolition. Whereas the LMGs and shotguns, I can see how they could be useful, but I find their drawbacks are not highly desired, solely because the LMGs, while they are good for holding down points, when you do die with them, it is kind of a hassle to rush back to the objective and get there quickly so that you can, keep them off of it, either planning or defusing. So the LMGs, while they're good for holding choke points, not so good getting back to the objective. And once again, the shotguns, although while they are good of, holding multiple people off a close quarters engagement, whereas in demolition, you don't really get to choose your engagements, because when you are running the shotgun class, most of the time you are trying to choose your routes, your locations which you hold up and whatnot. But in demolition, you really don't get that opportunity or chance because the objectives are fixed. So you have to get to these objectives, and not every single objective is in a close quarter building. Sometimes they're wide out in the open, sometimes it's neither or. So shotgun's probably not well suited. Some maps, yes, maybe it may be well suited, but on most occasions, shotguns are not your best bet. Whereas submachine guns, you can get there fast, hold down the location in close quarters, and an assault rifle, you can pick people off at long ranges or hold them in the wide open areas, which is why I prefer the submachine guns or assault rifles while playing demolition. They are my preferred classes. A secondary, if any, would be the RPG, solely because, you can pull it out, you get 2 rockets, you fire off in the building, hopefully kill them. Whereas, the pistols or anything else like that, in demolition, you really, either you don't live long enough to switch over to your pistols because there's so many people rushing you, or you've killed enough people and you got time to reload. That's the way I kind of look at it, and there's no other reason. Just really the RPG is the only suitable secondary. Whereas the other one, you only get the one rocket, and most people are running flat jacket. So the RPG is the only real way to go whenever you are going for the launchers for demolition, because it's going to take 2 rockets in order to kill these guys, unless you get them with the direct impact, which is a little bit hard to do because most people head glitch behind objectives. So yeah, a little bit hard to do. So RPG probably your best bet if you are running for an explosive secondary. Perks in the first perk category that I see as good options is flat jacket and lightweight. Solely because flat jacket, a lot of people use either claymores, especially C4, grenades, whether that be frag grenades or Simtex grenades, and they just spam grenades on these objectives. And you really need flat jacket, because if they're not using those, they're using RPGs or some other explosive type weapons like grenade launchers to kill you. So flat jacket is a must. It truly is a must. Lightweight, I could see being very useful, to quickly get back to the objective, whether if you just died you need to go defend it, or whether you just planted it and now you need to go defend it, or just get there and plant it, that kind of stuff. So lightweight, pretty useful. The rest of the perks within that category, I kind of off and on. I really don't see Ghost being useful at all, or Hardline, because the way I look at it in demolition, it's either you do average, you get 2-3 kills, or you get 5 or whatever kind of streak, and you do somewhat even, but you're not going to really get those high-end gameplays. And this is the way I look at it. If you are going to get those high-end gameplays, you were going to get those no matter what. Either it was a really dumb team and they have no idea what they're doing, or you spawn trapped very well. And Hardline, you were going to get those high-end kill streaks if you're going for them no matter what. So Hardline in this game mode and Ghost are just not really too useful. Although the other perk, I can't remember, I think it's Hardwired or something along those lines. That one I can see being somewhat useful, if you sentry guns and whatnot to get around them this way you can go get the objective. I could see it being useful, but me personally, I'd rather have flat jacket on, preferably over those kill streaks. Flat jacket or lightweight, or over the perks. So yeah. The middle perk section. These perks, it's kind of one of those iffy things. Like for me, I really don't need those, but I could see other people maybe they could need. So I'm not going to recommend any of the second perks or middle perk slots, because in truthfulness, they don't serve too big of a role in Demolition, but at the same time, they'll just improve your gameplay. Whether you want, fast hands to switch between your weapons, whether you're planning to pick up weapons, whether you're planning to do anything at all, whether you're planning to live long with Scavenger, or whether you're planning to take a lot of gunfire with Toughness. It all depends what you're planning to do. It's not a necessity. It's not anything that I see as something you should run. You see what I'm saying? It's up to your discretion. Whereas the third perk slots, I see Tactical Mask and Marathon being the only two good choices for Demolition. Because in Tactical Mask, a lot of people will be running, shot charges, stuns, concussions, that kind of stuff. So those Tactical Mask is your best bet in this game mode. And Marathon is obviously, for the obvious reason, you can get to the objectives faster, sprint across the map. And the other perks, I really don't see Dead Silence or Awareness being worth it at all. And I don't think these perks should even be in the game. Sole reason is because I even have a headset and I can't hear anything at all. Anything at all. So Dead Silence, can't hear footsteps already. Awareness, I get it. Barely hear you, barely anything in some situations, on some maps, on some surfaces. So these perks are like completely worthless. But yeah. So anyways, in the third perk slots, Tactical Mask and Marathon, two pretty good choices. I'll leave the rest up to you. But anyways. Okay, so let's go and move on to some score streaks. And I try to keep my score streaks list underneath the 1,000-point mark. Sole reason is because I could say, Swarm. Yes, it's the best kill streak for this. Because once you get the Swarm, they'll never be able to get to the objective. But how many people are going to get this one? How many times could I say, go for the Lone Star, because when you get the Lone Star, you can keep them up with the objective. Anything above 1,000 will be very useful, but how many people are going to be able to get that on a consistent basis to help out their team? Yes, you may get those occasional games where you do get this, and I'm not saying that you can't get this. What I'm saying is every single game back-to-back, every single round, pretty often you're going to get these kill streaks. That's what I'm trying to say. If you can get those kill streaks every single time, then go and run them. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about the average gamer, people like me. So let's continue on. So score streaks that I find useful in this game mode is UAV, Hunter Killer, Counter UAV, Guardian, Sentry Gun, and Lightning Strike. And UAV, obviously, this way you can see flanking rounds. Hunter Killer, this is actually a different one. I'm not going to tell you to use it as, a free kill or whatever. The reason why I say it's a good one in this is because I use the Hunter Killer differently than most people. I use it as a super overpowered grenade. Because if you can throw this thing right, you can throw it into a building and kill riot shielders or people with flat jacket, whereas if you had a C4, you would only get hit markers. And the Hunter Killer is a really powerful grenade if you know how to use it just right. So that's the way I use it. If I just plan an objective, or if I'm trying to get to an objective and there's people camping within a building, I can throw my Hunter Killer and pretty much always get the kill on it, which is why I use it. It's a really good tool if you use it like a grenade. And Counter UAV, although it's not too affected in Demolition, it's not like, oh, I wonder which way they're going to go or that kind of stuff. It's more of a slow down technique, because most of the time whenever you call in a Counter UAV, most people kind of slow down and think more and check their corners and whatnot, so that they're a little more cautious because they can't see the radar most of the time. Not every single time, but most of the time. And with objective game modes where you gotta hold it for 3 minutes, it's a pretty big help to slow them down even for a matter of seconds. Guardian, obviously this way you can hold down choke points on the sides of the maps or certain doorways. That's always useful. And the Lightning Strike is really useful solely for the reason on the objectives where they are out in the open. This one I actually debated whether or not it would be useful, because most of the time there's either one objective inside a door or, inside of a building and one on the outside, or sometimes there's even objectives where they're all inside of a building. So this one I debated whether or not it'd be useful, whether I should bring it to you. But I feel that there's open objectives on enough maps where I should tell you. So Lightning Strike is more useful than Hellstorm Missile, because the Hellstorm Missile takes a while to, get down there. And since it only takes like 5-6 seconds to defuse, whereas, Lightning Strike it only takes like a second and a half to get down there and kill everyone. So Lightning Strike will save you a lot more time than the Hellstorm Missile, where it probably takes a few more seconds to get down to the ground and kill the person who's either defusing or planting the bomb. And Sentry Gun, obviously, to hold down wide open choke points so that you can pretty much kill everyone. And I prefer the Sentry Gun. And whenever I'm running Demolition, I always have the Sentry Gun. Even when I'm expecting to get really high games, I still run the Sentry Gun because it's still extremely useful. Let's go and move on to Tacticals and Lethals. I have to say, any kind of explosive will be pretty good in this game mode, except for really Claymores. The Claymores I wouldn't see too useful. Bouncing Betties, you can use them as somewhat of like a tripwire, just in case people are running flashback and be like, oh, okay, there's this guy. But me personally, I would rather be running C4. I think C4 is your best bet whenever you are running explosives, because you can set it on the ground, throw it through a window, do anything you want it out. Use it as a trap, hide behind a riot shield or hide in a doorway. wait for someone around a corner, then detonate off the C4 and kill him. Or you can use it to take out objective, or I apologize, score streaks around the ground like an AGR, a Sentry Gun, or a Guardian, or anything like that. So I prefer the C4 in this objective game mode, where I find it to be really useful. Tacticals that are pretty useful. I find tactical insertion probably your best bet, because in Demolition, where if you die, you know, you usually got to do some kind of hiking technique to get back to the objective, whereas tactical insertion, you can kind of set your own spawn point, get to the objective, push them harder, and then eventually take over the objective planet and win the game, or defuse it, whatever it may be. So yeah, tactical insertion is a really good bet. A lot of people recommend smoke grenades, but me personally, the way I look at it, smoke grenades are kind of like this. Hey, look at me, I'm over here. That's the way I look at it. As soon as I see someone throw a smoke grenade on a bomb plant, I instantly throw my C4 there and kill like 2 people, because more than likely, if there's a smoke grenade there, they're trying to cover themselves, but it's not going to help because I'm running a C4, so I'm just going to be like, oh, you just painted a huge target over your back, now I know where you are. So smoke grenades aren't really extremely useful. Trophy systems, once again, you could use these things solely if, you know, you're trying to keep yourself off of, you know, explosive damage, because even if you are running flat jackets, sometimes multiple C4s or grenades obviously can kill you. So trophy systems still helpful, but I'd rather have a tactical insertion if it came down between the two of them. Stuns, flashes, concussions, all that kind of stuff. Once again, useful, but I'd either rather have a trophy system or a tactical insertion. So those are kind of my opinions for those things. So once again, guys, we kind of reached the end of this commentary, or tips, or tactics, whatever you want to call it. If you stayed for the end, you know, good luck. Maybe do better and whatnot. Hope I helped. Anyways, guys, so I'm going to end it here. So, like the video if you liked it, or if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about me. If you want to stay updated on all my videos and everything that I'm doing, follow me on Twitter. It's at xXMonkeyDragon. A link to it will be in the description. Well, anyways, guys, I'm MonkeyDragon. That's all I got. Peace.